Hello everybody, my name is Tracy Bleakley and I'm Chief Executive of Hospice UK, one of the NGS's beneficiary charities. The video that you're about to see was recorded just before the coronavirus outbreak, and of course things were slightly different then. But it's an important video because it celebrates the difference that NGS garden openings made to hospice care across the UK.
Preparing for the loss of a terminally ill child is one of the hardest things a parent will ever face. It's a time when having the right support and the right environment is critical. Across the UK, the Hospice Network is dedicated to providing the very best end-of-life care for both patients and their families, matching expert nurses with patients, allowing them to receive care both within a hospice or at home. For Karen Mann, it was important that her son Jake received his care at home, and it was her home and her garden that played a significant role in helping Karen cope in the most difficult of times.
He would never have gone anywhere other than being at home with his things, and the Jays enabled us to have that help. Came to us and let him stay at home getting the care he needed.
When I met Karen, I was Director of Clinical Services at the Jays Hospice. I nearly always tried to do my visits to Jake at the end of the day, and partly the reason that I did that was that I needed to spend time with Karen and to talk to Karen about how Jake was and how he was doing. And most parents find it difficult to talk about things, so it was just a much more natural situation to walk around Karen's beautiful garden. I have to be honest, it was also quite uplifting for me. The job isn't always easy and the garden is so beautiful, so I loved to have a walk around the garden with Karen. And because I knew it was Karen's passion and because it is such a stunning garden, it was always a pleasure to walk round. But then I needed to spend time with Jake, because he would give me that look as if to say, okay, you've had enough time with Mum now, it's my time to talk to you. I think secretly he did like the garden, but sometimes he would roll his eyes when we started to talk about the garden as if to say, hang on, you're here to see me. But I know he loved it.
He bought a lovely rose for me. He used to go to university and get a taxi home, and he got his taxi driver to take him to a garden centre and picked a rose. And so every time that flowers, that's a lovely thing to have. Jake died in the December, and in the spring, that following spring, I was walking around the garden and I spotted a seedling, and I thought it was something interesting. I thought it was the seedling of a tree dahlia that I grow, and I watched it and watched it, and when it flowered, although it was similar to the tree dahlia, it was different. The flowers were different, and I realised it was something new. And I got in touch with the people that I had got the tree dahlia from and said what did they think, and they agreed it was a new plant and I should contact the RHS, which I did, sent them photographs, and then they allowed me to register it and to name it after Jake. And it's quite a lovely thing, and obviously every time I look at that plant, I think, although it had nothing really to do with him, it's everything to do with him, because it was named for him.
It was obviously a really difficult time after Jake died, because obviously Karen put a huge amount of time and effort into Jake's care, and as we said before, he was at home. His home meant so much to Jake. He had a great bedroom, and although he said he didn't like going out in the garden, it was a fantastic view for him. So when he died, obviously it was a huge loss and a very big hole in Karen's life. We'd spent a lot of time looking around the garden, and it was just one day I just said to her, would you open it? Thinking I was taking a chance because she's very private, and I think she went away and thought about it, and then thankfully did.
I thought it would be a nice thing to do. I thought, you could meet other people who like gardening, share the garden, and it gives you something to work towards. If you know that someone is coming to look at your garden, you have to get on with it, you have to get it right. So it's given me a focus. It gives you something else to think about. It gets you out in the garden and keeps you very busy, and it stopped me just thinking too much about the difficult things.
There's nothing more uplifting than walking through Karen's garden or somebody else's garden, looking at the colours, the plants, just the sheer beauty of it is uplifting. You can't help but feel that you feel better just because you've had a walk in the garden.
Every year, over 3,500 garden owners open their gardens. This rich portfolio of beautiful spaces across England and Wales provides inspiration for gardeners and tranquil breathing spaces away from the stresses of everyday life for thousands of visitors. Together, this community raises millions of pounds for nursing and healthcare charities like Hospice UK.
This year, 2020, is such an important year for nurses. Not only is it the 200th anniversary of the birth of Florence Nightingale, but fittingly it's the International Year of the Nurse. For nearly 100 of those years, the National Garden Scheme have been supporting nurses and the fantastic work they do in communities up and down the UK by opening gardens and being one of their largest supporters. So on behalf of Hospice UK, of all the beneficiary charities and everybody involved with the National Garden Scheme, I want to say an enormous heartfelt thank you to all of you. You have changed millions of lives across the UK. You are absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.